Jersey Fives. They come back, they band together, they come through, and they are your premier champions.
Congratulations to the Clowns. The New Jersey Fives are the Advil Targeted Relief Major League Pickleball Mid-Season Tournament Champions, or the ATR MLP MST for short. I don't know about y'all, but I had so much fun watching this tournament. It definitely felt like a good throwback to the MLP format we're used to. We're going to go through the results. I pulled a few clips. We'll do some highlights this time and have so much fun with charts. I've updated team results for men, women, mixed, Dreambreaker. Look at this cool chart. We've got partnership records, a new strength of schedule and strength of record metric. Player results versus auction price will be updated. We'll briefly touch on the challenger result, talk about close call replay. Let's dive into the results. Also, by the way, like and subscribe. I'm supposed to say that. It's annoying. I hate saying it, but if I don't say it, apparently people don't do it. So just do it. Now, these were the standings coming into the event, and these are also the standings exiting the event because it didn't actually matter for standings, just for money. $80,000 to the winning team. That's pretty good for them. But in the future, I would absolutely love to see this actually matter for the standings. Maybe even bring back the classic format with 3 pools of 4, 12 points to the winning team, 11 to second place, 10, 9, 8, etc. all the way down. Right now, it is trending like the number of points needed to make the playoffs will be 33. So I think just adding in these points on top of that would have been a lot of fun, and it would have felt like there was a little bit more stake, even more on the line than just money. But anyway, let's get on to the actual results. As we saw in the intro there, the New Jersey Fives won it all. They played the Arizona Drive and Dallas Flash and then beat DC Pickleball team in the championship. Texas in the first round beat Ben Johns twice and then lost to the Dallas Flash for the 3rd time this season. However, they made it all the way through the back draw, all the way to the 3rd place championship match against the Dallas Flash for the 4th time this season, where they finally prevailed in a Dreambreaker. Now, we mentioned Ben Johns and the Carolina Pickleball Club. This was Andrea Coop's home tournament. She's the host, puts on a great event. By all accounts, everybody absolutely loves this event. Unfortunately for that team, they went 0-2, and what's even crazier is both their matches were sweeps. Ben Johns went 0-3 on the weekend, including 2 losses with his brother Colin. The New York Hustlers were unable to continue their hot streak. They won 6 games in MLP DC. They did get 1 backdraw win before falling short to the Orlando Squeeze, who had a tremendous weekend as well. Tyson McGuffin, love him or hate him, he's electric, and he just gets results. There's one match in particular we're definitely going to have to check out. So let's go ahead and take a look at some of the games. The first highlight we'll look at here, 24-24, Texas Ranchers versus Carolina Pickleball Club. Ball is called out, and we've got close call replay. We're not cavemen. We have technology. We're actually using it for once. That ball is in. And this is a crucial moment. Now here we are on game point for Ben and Colin. We've got a ball off the net, another one. That's 3 in a row. And here, after a little dinking, Kwong's going to pop one up, but the dreaded push-off foot fault from Colin, that would have won the game.
Yeah.
Just a few rallies later, Texas found themselves with a game point. Etta Wright and Christian Alshon would then beat Ben and Jesse. Texas would win 3-0. Now, here we are into the semifinals. We've got another use for close call replay. It's not just for the line calls. They ruled that this ball hit JW's foot before the ground, and the point was awarded to New Jersey. Earlier in the day, Zane and Will Howes had found their first men's doubles win against AZ Drive, which actually proved to be really important as Annalie Waters dropped her first mixed doubles, and they were able to advance in a Dreambreaker. Here we've got Zane and Mari looking for their first win of the season against the Johnson sibling. They had plenty of chances. Here's their 5th game point. I figured they were the New Jersey Fives. Maybe they would get it done then. This was one of those games that was prolonged by win on serve, but on the 6th try, they did get it done, and the New Jersey Fives advanced to the finals, winning their first match of the season that did not require a Dreambreaker. Here we are in the other semifinal. We've got DC versus St. Louis into the Dreambreaker. We've got Rachel Rohrbacher versus Anna Bright. Normally they play together on the PPA Tour, so this was a little spicy. Pretty excited to see this. Here's a good rally. Now, earlier in this match, we also did get the Anna Bright versus James Ignatowicz showdown we were kind of hoping for. And hey, speaking of James Ignatowicz, there he is, jumping. He's jumping. He's got a match point here. He's going to do a big serve, I'm sure. Instead, he plays it safe, never really gets ahead in the point, and instead, Gabe Tardio is able to prolong the match. However, Rachel Rohrbacher would get to come back out against Anna Bright again with a match point of her own, and she would be able to get the job done against her doubles partner. Now, at the same time as this match was going on, over in the consolation bracket, the New York Hustlers were playing the Orlando Squeeze. Here, we join them at 24-22. They have a game point against Tyson McGuffin and Paris Todd, and this would just be one of many moments that the New York Hustlers wish they could get back. This was one of the most insane matches that I've ever seen. As you'll see, this game point counter is going to keep jumping up. Tyson coming all the way across, Paris filling in behind. Can't keep the counter in, but no, we're not done yet. We're still going. In fact, we're just getting started here. Tyson McGuffin shuts down that chance for the New York Hustlers. They get one of their own, but a little miscommunication in the middle sends a dink into the net. New York Hustlers, their 5th chance trying to close it out. CJ Klinger gets Tyson on the ropes, but they're able to find his feet on the next chance. New York Hustlers again, and CJ Klinger goes for it. Cannot believe that he missed it. 7th attempt at it. Surely he can do it this time. Paris gets an awkward spot. CJ again looking for that back line, can't find it. The Orlando Squeeze now with a few chances of their own to try to win. Keep an eye on that score too. We are getting all the way up there, folks. Here, Tyson McGuffin hits the deck. CJ Klinger with the Ernie body bag. That's worth another look. And now that we have hit 38 on the score, I was wondering, do they have to change ends again? I know they do it at 13, but what about 38? I mean, it only seems fair. Down 38-37 with their backs against the wall. Jackie Kawamoto finds the net winner with a 9th attempt. Orlando again trying to close out. We have confirmed we are going to get a score in the 40s here, and CJ Klinger cannot keep it in. Finally, it is over. Orlando Squeeze would go on to win in a Dreambreaker. On to the bronze medal match. We've got the 4th showdown of the season between Texas and Dallas. In men's doubles, nothing was really working for the Ranchers. Here is a speed-up attempt by Alshon. That's just not going to work on J-Dub. Not even a chance. In women's doubles, Texas would be able to level the score at 1-1. Mixed doubles number 1, we got to see Kwang Duong cook again. I gotta say, I just love this kid. He is so much fun to watch. He's just so aggressive and speed up everything. He goes big on his serve. His 3rd shot, you know it's going to be a drive, and he still is getting errors off of it. Anyway, Tina and Kwang were able to get a crucial mixed doubles win, and this match would end up in a Dreambreaker. Tina Pisnik was actually able to battle her way to a 5-3 edge over Georgia Johnson in this Dreambreaker, which was absolutely crucial. Etta Wright was kind of weak link for the Ranchers, and Christian Alshon and Kwang Duong were able to carry. Here's Kwang's big serve. He got 4 missed returns off J-Dub just from this serve. That ultimately ended up being enough, and here on match point, there it is. Ranchers win 3rd place and $20,000. On to the championship match. It went about as expected, ended up in a Dreambreaker with Annalie Waters getting her 2 games. Here we've got Will Howes and Deckel Barr battling it out.
We're still playing.
Got to go cross court.
Oh, no way.
This was a great Dreambreaker. Lots of back and forth. DC with a 2-point lead late, but Deckel Barr with 2 missed serves. Will Howes then able to come back and get his team tied up with this passing shot backhand. And then, like we saw in the intro, it was Zane Navratil who got to have the championship moment.
There it is, the New Jersey Fives.
So here are the player standings just for the mid-season tournament. I'm going to go ahead and give my own personal MVP award to none other than Annalie Waters. Maybe that's a safe choice, but it's objectively the right choice. Let's go ahead and name a tournament team. We'll take Annalie Waters, we'll take Tina Pisnik, we'll take the 2 men from DC. They both had a phenomenal week. Then for the second team, go ahead and give me Kwang Duong. He was just incredible, my new favorite player. We'll take Zane, even though he's pretty low in these standings. He came up clutch in the Dreambreakers, and that mixed win versus J-Dub and Georgia prevented them from having to go to yet another Dreambreaker against Dallas. If him and Will Howes don't find that men's doubles game against Arizona, when Annalie Waters dropped a mixed doubles match, they might have gone home. And then to round out our second team, we'll give it to Anna Bright and the Gloss Dog. Why not? Vivian Glossman. Let me know who you would pick for the MVP and who you would put on your first tournament team. Here we've got the mid-season tournament only partnership results. That's right, Kwang Duong and Tina Pisnik went 3-0 together. Tina and Kwang found a ton of success against other teams' mixed number 2 line, which is incredibly promising for the Ranchers. Ben and Colin, 0-2. They're now 4-3 on the season. They only played 2 games, rally scoring 25. So that on its own isn't that crazy, especially when you consider just how close they came to beating Christian Alshon and Kwang Duong against the Texas Ranchers. If that football goes differently, we could have a completely different narrative. Who knows? Maybe they win in the Dreambreaker. They beat Texas last time in a Dreambreaker, and we're not even having this conversation. That's the way it went, and we get to have this conversation. It's just the latest data point in the continuing trend of their dominance slipping. A few other teams I've been keeping an eye on. Kate Fahey and Gabe Tardio continue to struggle. Augie and Tyra had a tough outing for Dallas, going 0-3. There's really not much to say about Utah at this point. And Columbus is also probably concerned. The DC men 4-0, proving to be quite the formidable unit. Now, Declan played well with Elise Jones, but he also played well with Vivian Glosman, and Vivian and Rachel seem to be a little more dangerous than Rachel and Elise were. Moving on, we have now added the mid-season tournament results into our season-long data, points, and standings, and check out this chart. I had a lot of fun making this one. You can kind of see which teams are well-rounded, which teams have maybe one discipline they struggle in, and which team is the Utah Black Diamonds, because every chart I make, no matter what I do, they're an outlier. Carolina was definitely counting on that men's doubles line being a lot closer to 100%, and they still have yet to win a women's doubles game. Now, keep in mind, Dreambreaker data here is very thin. Another interesting team is the New Jersey Fives, as you can see. Dreambreakers, they are undefeated, and there actually is a decent amount of data there. And they're 6-0 now on the season, 5-0 in Dreambreakers. Women's doubles, they have yet to drop a game. Their first mixed line is strong, but Zane and Mari have been weak. Orlando is another team with one weakness. They still haven't quite put together that women's doubles unit, 2 right side players, although they did look much better this week in general across the board. Then you've got teams like DC, Texas, St. Louis, and Dallas who look a little more well-rounded across the board. We've got head-to-head game results. On the left side here is the team. Across the top is their opponent. So if you want to see what New Jersey's game record against Arizona is, you just look at this square right here. If you want to see what St. Louis's record is against Texas, you go over here. You get the point. I just wanted to point out one thing here. Texas on the season is 35-26 in all games, okay? But they're 4-12 against the Dallas Flash. They played 4 matches already against the Flash, and it hasn't gone well. Finally got one. I mean, geez. But if you take away Dallas, they are 31-14. Here we've got the same concept, but now we're only looking at women's doubles. In a minute, we're going to talk about a strength of schedule and a strength of record metric that I've developed, but I just kind of want to show this is why I felt that was necessary. You look at Texas women, they're 11-4, clearly a very strong unit, but they've played Carolina twice. They've played Columbus twice. They've played Utah once. Those women's doubles teams are a combined 1-17. It's important context, I think. Here we've got men's doubles. Texas just hasn't been able to crack the code against J-Dub and Augie. Same concept, but just for mixed doubles. Pause here, you guys take a look at this. Let me tell you about the Austin Pickle Ranch. 16 indoor courts here in Austin, Texas. My dad went crazy. He spent like $100,000 just on the sound dampening technology, sprayed the ceiling with foam, got some noise dampening curtains and paneling along the entire facility. It's the quietest facility I've ever been in. If you're in town, come check it out. And if you're not in town, come to town and come check it out. Finally, now we've got the Dreambreakers head-to-head with, again, New Jersey, a perfect 5-0. Okay, now we're going to have some fun. The season-long partnership records. So we've got our points win percentage, we've got our games win percentage, and then I've kind of got a opponent win percentage, which is basically a strength of schedule metric. Then I've got a strength of record metric, which I'm calling just wins above baseline. What I'm doing here is I'm taking the average game win percent from the opposing team across all disciplines, and then I'm using that to just get a very rough estimate of the strength of your opponents. For example, J.W. Johnson, his win percentage across all games, now in both men's and mixed doubles, is 75% on the season. Augie's win percent is 57% across men's and mixed doubles. So their average as a team is 66%. I'm just assuming the baseline or average team would be expected to win 34% of the time against them. That's just 1 minus 66%. So then for each of these partnerships, we take the average of all the opponents they've played across the entire season. Alshon and Quang Duangs, for example, their opponents have an average win percent of 50%. They've won 67% of their games, which is 17% above our baseline expectation of 50%. Then you look at a team like Declan and James. They maybe have the argument as being one of the best teams just based on that 9-4 record, but the opponents they played only have a 44% win percentage, which is among the lowest marks in the entire league. So my metric says the baseline average team would be expected to win 56% of the time against those opponents. Declan and James have won 69% of the time. Very nice, but that's only 13% above the expectation. So it's less impressive by this metric than what Quang and Alshon have done based on strength of opponent. Now I'm using the opponent's win percentage across both disciplines just so you have more data for guys like Andre or Blaine or AJ who haven't really played a ton. And this whole thing's probably overkill a little bit, but I don't know. I kind of had fun messing around in Excel making it. I hope you guys enjoy it. Augie Guh and JW Johnson look like they are the top team right now when it comes to men's doubles. The same thing for women's doubles, of course. Annalie Waters and Mari Humberg, yeah, they're rolling. They're killing it. Now, remember that head-to-head chart I showed where Texas had played so many games against bad women's doubles teams? Well, that is being captured here. Their opponent's win percentage is 44%. That is the lowest mark in the league. So that 11-4 record might be a little inflated, but it's still impressive, and they are outperforming the baseline expectation. It's very thin data, but Rachel Rohrbacher does seem to be doing a little bit better with Vivian Glosman than Elise Jones. They went 2-2 this tournament against better teams. That's the other reason I wanted to do this. With the midseason tournament, the better teams advanced in the bracket. They played the better teams more often, whilst the teams that lost went to the consolation bracket where they played the other bad teams more often. And finally, we'll do the same thing for mixed doubles. And this is where I think this metric is even more important because each team has two mixed doubles line. Presumably one is their kind of top tier line and one is their second tier. Some teams feel like it's a little bit more 1A, 1B. But for most teams, I feel like there's kind of a clearly defined hierarchy of which is their ace mixed doubles team. For example, in that semifinal, the fives threw out Zane and Mari against Georgia Johnson and JW Johnson, and I'm not sure that they were really doing that, expecting to get a win there. It kind of felt like they were just punting that, then taking Anna Lee to the bank to get a win against Augie and Tyra, force the Dream Breaker and get the win. And that actually does show up here in the data. Mari and Zane have played a tougher schedule with 54% win percentage for their opponents than Annalie Waters and Will Howes. Still, the average team would be expected to be performing better than they have. A huge surprise has got to be Hunter Johnson and Jade Kawamoto. They are 5-0 as a mixed doubles team. Anna Bright and Hayden Patrickman have been incredibly strong. Tina Pisnick did very well with Christian Alshon, and she is doing very well with Kwang Duong. Christian Alshon and Etta Wright did have a tough outing in this tournament, but they played against some very tough teams with a 57% opponent win percentage. Compare that to CJ Klinger and Jackie Kawamoto, who have a better record, but actually fewer wins above baseline. And now here again back to the lower performing teams. Augie Guh and Hurricane Tyra Black probably not quite performing up to the standard they would be expected to, but for a mixed number 2 line, and with how strong their men's doubles and JW and Georgia have been, still good enough to get this team wins. Here we've just got the Premier League men total season, including the ATR MLP MST. We've got the win percentage in games, we've got the points win percentage, and we've got the power rating, which is just game win percentage plus points win percentage times 100. This does not include Dream Breakers. MLP did not include individual Dream Breaker data. I really wish they would. Hunter Johnson, in his second event, is still towards the top of this, guys. I mean, that's something to keep an eye on. People said he belonged in Challenger. You sure about that? You sure? Deckel Bar, probably the steal of the draft. We'll get to that in a second. Hayden Patrickman, so hot right now. And then down the bottom, Zane Navratil, dude. Finally got some wins under his belt, and that's good to see. And he has come up clutch in the Dream Breakers, as we saw. If he can just start finding the odd win like he did this week in men's doubles and mixed doubles, then all of a sudden the New Jersey Fives go from being the best team to an absolute juggernaut. A few names we're surprised to see down here at the bottom have got to be the Columbus men, Riley Newman and Connor Garnett. Dylan Frazier, although keep in mind he did play with AJ Kohler here for this last event. Here was game win percentage plotted against player cost for just the regular season events. Kind of just threw up a few overlays here. You can see some great value. You can see some expensive players, but worth it. And maybe some players not quite worth the price tag. Let's go and see how this looks when we throw in the ATR MLP MST data. I went ahead and grayed out Elise Jones and Pablo Tejas since they moved down to Challenger. I like those overlays. Let's throw them back on. I kind of changed them up a little bit though. We've still got expensive but worth it up here, but Ben Johns, is he worth the price? Probably, but not with that team construction around him. Radascu has still just played the one event. Riley Newman struggling to get things going. Catherine Parento, just the one event. Jack Sock still not quite looking like a first-round pick. And on the other end of the spectrum, you've got some great value in players like JW and Georgia Johnson. Tyson McGuffin had himself a week, played himself up into this tier. Deckel Bar and Tina Pisnick having a stellar year on the PPA Tour, playing together, winning some medals. Probably the two biggest steals of the draft, but you've got to mention Hunter Johnson here as well. And on Challenger Watch, we've got Alex Trong and Andre Koop. And just for fun, we've also got this same chart with point win percentage plotted against player cost. This is again, including the ATR MLP MST. While you guys take a look at this, I'll throw my overlays back on. And let me tell you about my favorite pickleball overgrips. I use these in Bodie Pickleball. I think they're great. You can use code Matty Pickles, get 15% off. Tons of colors to pick from. I just think they're neat, okay? I just like them. They're the official pickleball overgrip of Basil the dog. And speaking of Basil the dog, he got second place in the MLP ATR MLP STA. The ATR MLP MST Bracket Pick'em Challenge sponsored by the Dylan Frazier Pickleball Underworld. He did call New Jersey to win it all. In my bracket, I worked my magic. I did the old double jinx. I put Texas losing to Dallas Flash in the second round, which happened. And then I had them losing again in the third place final, which finally my voodoo worked and we got the win. We will update our power rankings. Now in the past, I've been limiting these top 3 tiers to just 6 teams, but I'm going to cheat a little bit this week. We're going to have 7 teams. I'm bumping the New Jersey Fives all the way up to the S tier. They're 6-0. They haven't lost. Sure, 5 of those are dream breakers. Until somebody beats them, they're just going to stay here. I think that's fair. I'm bumping the Texas Ranchers back up to the A tier with their third place outing. Basically, what it comes down to is these 5 teams, I feel like, have separated themselves a little bit from the pack and proven that they are probably going to be in the mix when it comes to the playoffs. New York Hustlers had one great event where they racked up a ton of wins, but outside of that, haven't looked stellar, and Orlando has shown flashes, especially at this midseason tournament. We'll see what Arizona can do when they get the big man Andre Diescu back. We'll see what LA looks like. They only have 3 matches played with their full lineup together. We're bumping the Seattle Pioneers, aka Carolina Pickleball Club, back down, all the way down to the D tier. That feels crazy. It really does. And then, of course, there's Utah. We'll quickly talk about Challenger League. Here are the results. Good for Pablo Tejas. Got traded down to Challenger, already won a mid-season tournament, and he actually made more money doing this than if he would have got third place with the Ranchers. Now, there's probably one clip you did see from Challenger, and it wasn't in the championship. In fact, it was on the very first day of the tournament when the California Black Bears played the Florida Smash, and this happened.
It's Johnson hits the corner. Ooh.
Called it out.
The call is...
So they have to take a challenge.
Here's the call in question.
That's just an objectively bad call. They moved this event indoors. They didn't have the same close call replay that we saw in all the other events. But how does that happen, right? Like, somebody has to have seen that. Here's what Richie Tuazon said on Twitter. MLP literally had a line judge watching that line who couldn't overturn it somehow. You can kind of just pass the blame off to the ref if you want, but looking at how bad this call is, how many people are standing right there watching it, I just find it hard to believe that nobody on that team saw it. Travis Rettenmeyer said he didn't believe them, except Jimmy Miller. I'm imagining that kind of went down like Larry David giving somebody the hard stare.
You sure? Yeah.
Please give me some feedback. Get in the comments. What do you think of these? I'm going to try to do weekly video uploads. If you like this, send it to someone else. Send it to someone you know. Like, subscribe. Really appreciate it. Thanks for joining, everybody.